Howdy, friends. Oh no, hold on. There we go. Okay, I knew I was forgetting something. It was captions. I forgot captions. It's working now, though. Hi, friends. It's Kayshurrr stream time. I am such a fucking mess right now. You'll have to forgive me. It's fine. We'll figure it out. We're gonna get shit done. I'm excited to play a Vigi game. I'm excited to hang out with everyone. It's gonna be great. It fine. It fine. It's all fine. Everything is fine. Travis, Emmy, hello. We're gonna hang out in video games and no, it's gonna be fine. But hi, welcome in. How are you doing? How are things? It's still Wednesday. It's Wednesday, my dudes. You said that right as you typed that up right as I said it. Yeah, it's Wednesday, and it doesn't feel like Wednesday, but I would like for it to not be Wednesday. I would like for it to not be this week anymore. It's fine. Soup? Soup? It better be good soup. It better be good soup. I'm sure it's gonna be great soup, actually. Hold on. I am looking at my phone because I want to look at the calendar. Because I'm thinking about next week. Thinking about the week after, really, technically. No, next week. This is the week of the 16th. Today is the 16th. Next week, Friday. Gonna get down on Friday. No. Next Friday. A week from 2 days from now. Elden Ring is gonna come out. And I think I'm gonna play some of it on stream. So I think next Friday, we're gonna play some Elden Ring. And I'm very excited about that. Literally, the only thing getting me through this month right now is Elden Ring. Many months.
How many months, shocked face?
Shocked face. First off, let me catch up real fast. Hi, Allie, I love you. Allie and Emmy, thank you for the contribution to the Alien stream. Like I said during the afternoon stream, if y'all manage to get enough points for that, Fruity, thank you for that as well. If we get enough points for it, I think we'll do the modded Alien stream on my birthday. Because it has come to my attention that that is coming up in a little over a month. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we'll do an Alien stream on my birthday if you get enough points for the community challenge, that is. Also, I look really short right now, and that's because I am shrimping in my chair. Birthday Alien launch stream. Seems like a good thing to do. I don't know. We might do it earlier. It just depends on how I'm feeling, but that's kind of my general gauge for that right now, because that should give us enough time to, like, find the mods, make sure that they work, and, also give me time to, like, set up and emotionally and physically prepare for a 12-hour stream. That's gonna be wild. Yeah, it's been close to a year since my last birthday stream. Hey, I've been streaming for a while. I think it was when Mayor Emmy was born. If it wasn't my birthday stream, it was very shortly after my birthday stream. Because we started Buddy Simulator at the birthday stream, and then we finished it after that. Also, 10 dang months. Fruity has been here for 10 dang months, and has been, well, I guess subscribed for 10 dang months. I think we've known Fruity for a year now? Thereabouts? Regardless, it's weird. I'm gonna find the VOD, for when Fruity first showed up. It's weird. It's weird. In a good way, but weird. Yeah, Fruity showed up for Disco Elysium. I just have to find exactly when. I'm gonna find it. That's what I'm gonna do after stream today. I'm gonna find the video where Fruity showed up. But yeah, thank you, Fruity, for the contribution. I was gonna say, I've been trying to figure out how to, like... Hold on, that's turning that up and not down, and that's very loud in my ears. Kind of official, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. Maybe I'll address it later. It's fine. Yeah. My god, you lurked and then you came back? That's, wild to me. The fact that you, like, just hung out in the stream for a while, and then we're like, yeah, the vibes here are cool. I think I'm gonna come back. Wild. Still have a hard time getting my head around the fact that people, like, want to hang out sometimes. I'm working on it. It's fine. I have gotten to the point where I just accept it. So that's progress. But yeah, hi friends. Things are weird. Hey, you should, I know some people who could stand to hear that I'm great, but you know, powerful vibes, that is true. Hey, speaking of powerful vibes, grip and rip it. Allie's already gone and done it. April 11th. Was that the first? Wait, is that the first Fruity stream, or is that when Mayor Emmy was born? These are the questions. That was when Fruity followed us? Well, dang. Well, dang. Well, dang. Yeah. Jesus. Okay, alright. Committing this to memory. It's 9 days after my birthday. That's true. I guess that is true, isn't it? It's okay, yeah, there it is. You've been following since April 11th. I assumed you just had gone partway through, like, the Disco Elysium playlist or something and then was, I don't know, fancy. I would argue that you're that impressive, but that's just me. Hi, Smiley. Also, thank you for getting the shout out there. I am so tired of this stupid bot not working properly. But hey, Smiley was last seen doing a co-working stream. You should follow them. You should follow her. She's delightful. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Like I said, things are weird for me. Yeah, I don't know how to do any of the things that I need to do, but that's okay. That's fine. I don't know what I'm saying at this moment. It's fine. It's been a week. It's Wednesday, Lemon. What a week. Yeah, we're gonna play some Last of Us today, and I'm excited about that because I like this game, and it's a good game to cry to if you want. It's also like warm upstairs today, and I hate that. Right? It's only Wednesday, my dudes. It's only Wednesday, my dudes. Ah! But yeah, I guess I don't know. Things are weird and I don't know how to do any of the things that I need to do, and that's fine. I could also use a good cry, so maybe we'll just play this game. It's a good day for all of us to cry. Honestly, listen, Smiley, everyone, really, I should reaffirm, I am doing despite everything being shit right now, I'm doing real good as far as affording myself time to, like, rest and recuperate and being nice to myself and doing things for myself, and that's really great. I guess I just, like, I don't know. Like I said a couple streams ago about needing to ask for help, but not, like, knowing how. I'm stuck at the point where I'm like, I don't know how to approach asking for help. So this is me asking for help to ask for help? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll fill someone in at some point so that I can get help. Help with the things that I need assistance on. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But... And I know, again... Yeah. I will probably be hitting up a couple of you at some point in the near future. It's just me trying to figure out what I'm asking for. Yeah. So I'll be in touch with some folks. I don't want to sound like weird and ominous about that. I realize how ominous that sounds. Hey, listen, I'm always here for everyone. Okay? If people need help with something, or just someone to listen, have them listen to them, I'm here for it. Let me know. We appreciate assistance with the emotional bathtubs. No, so... Yeah, I'll fill everyone in later. I want to get to this game, but I appreciate knowing that everyone's here for me, and that means a lot, and, like, the fact that I'm able to even just, like, say, like, hey, I might need assistance with stuff, is a big step for me. So... Yeah. Could be weird to normalize being weird. Fair. Look, I appreciate that so much, and I love all of you. Are we ready to play this dang game? I don't know. I am in such a weird headspace, but oh, my controller is not connected. That's fine. But, like, it's fine? I mean, it's not fine, but I'm handling it. And I've got resources that I'm reaching out to. It's just weird. Things are just weird. And I feel like that's just, like, the general state of, like, everything right now. Everything's weird. Blah. But yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble. About things. All is weird. It's unfortunate, but it's nice to know that it's not just me. Alright, we're gonna play this dang game. We managed to get out of the city where the hunters were. And it's now fall? Are we now in the season of falling? The autumnal season? Also, how is sound? That's the other question. Everything's not orange, so that's exciting. This world is a fucking nightmare! That's it! Get on the fridge! Thank you, Emmy, for always quoting my favorite vine to me in my time of need. Give me this! Who left this here? The El Diablo! Alright, the other trick to this stream
What do you mean?
is remembering all the buttons. But I think I've got it handled. I think I've got this.
Ah, here we go. So what was it about?
Tommy saw the world one way, I saw it the other.
And that's why he joined the Fireflies.
Yeah, your friend Marlene promised
Tiny bit
him
quiet.
hope. That kept him busy for a while, but just like Tommy, he eventually quit
Not
that
El
too.
Diablo Raven Way.
Last time you saw him.
Diablo.
I believe his last words to me were, I don't ever want to see your goddamn face again.
It's fine.
Can help us?
I suppose we're gonna find out.
Well,
Is there anything over here?
We'll get there.
Let's just keep going.
I forgot that that's the name of the character, or what we named our character in Spirit Hunter. which I haven't given up on. I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I haven't given up on it. I just needed a break. There's enough weird miscommunications going on in my normal life that I don't need to trudge through poor translations at the moment. But I want to get through it at some point. It's just gonna... We're putting it on hiatus for now. Indefinitely setting it aside for the time being. Yeah, Diablo! I don't know how to say that to emphasize the, capitals. It's fine, though. I also think I mentioned it. We're gonna play this weekend. Oof, sorry. Leg, please. Because next week's schedule is gonna be a little funky. It's gonna be great, but it's gonna be a little weird. And I love this game. And I want to play more of it. So that's what we're gonna do this weekend. And like I said, Friday, Elden Ring comes out. I don't know that we will do a full playthrough of it. I don't think we're gonna do a full playthrough of it on stream now, but I would like to stream a bit of it when it comes out. Because I think it would be fun.
Right there's a hydroelectric power plant.
And then probably sometime next year we'll do a full
It uses the river's
Elden Ring
movement
playthrough.
and turns it into electricity.
How does it do that?
Probs.
Look, I know what it is. I don't know how it does it.
Because I was having fun streaming some of the Soulsborne games. I like it. Right, FromSoft, please fix your servers. Hey, buddies. I am so excited for Elden Ring.
That gets us halfway. We get the other one
It's a
out
lot
there.
of what I talk about right now, and I try not to, but I'm so dang hyped for this freaking game. It's gonna be great. And hopefully by the time the game comes out, the servers will be fixed. That was a nice little dance that Joel did there. Because I want to play more Dark Souls 2. But Travis, but the servers are still down. FromSoft saw that we were getting too powerful in-game. How do I get over there? Can we... The way Joel grabs stuff is very good. I don't know what you're talking about. It's perfect. Joel is perfect. Even in the ways that he's not perfect. He is perfect. Listen. Can you imagine co-op Souls, but instead of playing multiplayer, one person controls one half of the controller, the other half? Not a no-death run. That's not happening. That's worse than Drunk Souls? Okay, how do I get up here? Hey, Joel. Have you considered doing a thing? Okay, that's not it. The coordination involved in having two people control one controller would be ridiculous. I don't know what I'm doing. Is that through stream or through Steam? Because I know Steam has weird co-op settings. How? Where? Steam. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. Hey Joel, do you want to swim a little faster, buddy? Do we? I'd be willing to, just attempt to see how ridiculous it is. Just saying. How do I... Is it down there? Am I supposed to get there from down there? Didn't we find that out when, you and Marshall were trying to play something? Or was it when you and I tried to do... what's it? What is that game? Cuphead. No, it was when you guys were trying to do that Starship game or whatever. I remember this. Hey, Joel? Buddy, I know you are physically capable of climbing on these tree trunks and getting up there. He's not gonna, though. How in the world? There has to be a board stuck down here somewhere, right? That I can dislodge and then put Ellie on top of. Am I just not seeing it? Am I just being extra blind? Do I gotta get my prescription updated? Is this it? There it is. Found it. Eh. Okay, okay. Joel, it's time to go up. Gotta get some air, buddy. I have located it. I just swam around. Now you're offering me a hint. Now that I've found it, I should just turn those off. Those are bad. It's fine. Said it before, I'll say it again. I love this game. I said I love this game. Not that I was good at it. Ugh.
Alright, I need you to...
I know. Step on the fucking pallet.
Get on, Ellie! Let's go. Let's go. You don't need to hop onto it like that. But that's okay. We're living life dangerously. Get on up there. Get on up there. Okay. A lot of this is, again, me just getting used to the game and how it plays again. Let's go! Get it, Ellie. Get it, Ellie. Won't let me continue forward.
Be careful crossing that thing.
I will.
We're fine. Look. High five! High five. High five. Love Ellie. Let's make a shiv. Let's get some stuff in here. Oof. Because we got some binding. I need rags and alcohol for Molotovs and health kits. Oh.
That's too small. Great.
Forgot to leave that stupid robot on his grave. What should I do with it?
Ellie,
What? I want to talk about it.
no.
Why not?
How many times do we need to go over this? Things happen, and we move on.
It's just...
That's enough.
Joel!
I'm sorry.
Let's get to Tommy's.
Joel, we can talk about things. It's okay to talk about things, especially things that are, like, super traumatic. Ellie's a baby, and even if she weren't, if she wants to talk about it, she can talk about it. Joel, you gotta get in touch with your feelings, my dude. Listen, it's hard. I know it's difficult. But it's good to process and get out. Okay. And if you don't want to do it, that's
I'm so hungry.
I know, I am too.
that's up to you. But let Ellie talk about it.
Get past this place, then we can try to do something.
Be telling Joel to talk about his feelings, or at least let Ellie talk about her feelings about our friends dying. It's fine. Joel just wants to shove it all down and not talk about people dying.
Should we head in?
I mean,
There's no way around.
if the shoe
Cut
fits,
through the plant.
replace the name with whatever name you want. Give me the map. Give me the map. Don't worry. I will be offering all the unsolicited parenting advice to you both once Bean shows up. Not unsolicited. Only when applicable. Particularly when asked for. Y'all got this, though. You're gonna be great. Alright. Let's get through. Let's go. Oh, my shoulder.
Don't even think about reaching for your weapon. Tell the girl to drop hers now.
Ellie? Do as the lady says.
Hey.
Please tell me you're lost.
Oh, we didn't know the place was occupied. We're just trying to make our way through.
Through to where?
They're all right.
Wait, you know these people?
Know him.
Look at who
His
it
goddamn brother.
is!
Tommy.
It's the boy!
How you doing, baby brother?
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Let me look at you.
It's the boy! Hello, boy!
Easy. It's going to happen to you, too.
This is Maria. Be nice to her. She sort of runs things around here.
Ma'am, thanks for not blowing my head off.
Would have been embarrassing, considering you're my brother-in-law.
Oh, damn!
We all gotta get wrangled up at some point.
You don't, though. Tommy, listen. You don't have
Ellie,
to.
right? Yeah. Where'd you through here?
That's kind of a long story.
Why don't we bring him inside?
Yeah. You hungry?
Starving.
Everything's gonna be fine and perfect and nothing bad is ever gonna happen anymore, right? Right.
False alarm! They're friendlies. We've been dealing with raids. A lot of bandits in this area.
It's been quiet for a few days.
What the hell are you doing here? I thought I'd find you in Jackson.
Been trying to bring the plant back to life.
We had it working before, but one of the turbines went south.
We have electricity, Joel. I had. We'll get her running again.
Horses.
Oh, hey. You guys have horses.
We got a whole lot of them.
Hey, Tommy, give me a hand with this.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
Can I?
Weird
Of course.
dogs.
Cut his ears. You ever ride one?
I actually have.
When have you ridden a horse?
Winston, this soldier back in the zone, he gave me lessons.
I'm
Well,
like
if you want, we can take him riding later.
That'd be awesome.
gonna keep just scooting around because I am uncomfy today.
Hey, thanks, Tommy.
No
So there's
sweat.
gonna be a lot of wiggling going on over
Let's
here.
continue the tour.
Thanks, Tommy. You coming, Ellie?
Earl?
Yeah?
Why are you here? Weren't you supposed to head back this morning?
Still waiting on Hauser and the rest of the boys to relieve me.
No, you know, we'll be fine. Just go home to your family.
It's just a couple more hours. I'll tough it out.
All right, look, take it easy.
We're here. Why is no one walking? Please. You absolute goobers.
Maria,
Yeah, go ahead.
we're in the control room. Steve's about to start it back up. You want to come check it out?
I'd rather eat with Ellie.
It's my turn anyway. I'll go.
I'll come with you. Go with Maria. Get some food in.
Joel?
Come on, Ellie. Let's give the boys some space.
It's okay, Ellie. I'm not gonna
Send the
leave
Tommy
ya.
over. Stand by.
This will be the 6th time of them trying to get the turbines back online. We've been here just a week, and it feels like forever.
Yeah.
I got something for you. Last year I went back to Texas, back home. Most of our stuff is long gone. Most of it.
What that? What that?
Here.
Oh,
It's a
it's
little
that.
faded, it still looks pretty good.
I'm good.
You sure? I mean,
I've said I'm good.
Joel, you can't just pretend that nothing bad's ever happened.
I'll hold on to it for you.
Tommy, I need to talk to you. Privately.
Yeah, okay. Let me just check on my guys real quick. Come on.
Buddy. Run! I like that Tommy will hustle. But also before we go through there, I will be looting everything here. It all belongs to me now. And that's that. Nobody gets to keep any of this. It's all Joel's. Can I make a Molotov? Yes, I can. Healing speed might be good. Crafting might be good. Full durability might be good for shivs. Kind of want to increase my health, though. I think we'll wait to do an upgrade. Hold on. Would also like to set these. No. Okay, there we go. I mean, you don't need it out right now, Joel.
I don't know what you heard, but you should see the town. We're over 20 families strong now. It was Maria and her father. They set up this place with the idea of being self-sustained. We got crops and livestock.
Yeah.
Remember how we thought no one could live like this anymore? We're doing it.
Good job.
What do you do for protection?
Adults take turns guarding the perimeter. We even got an electrified fence when we plant it.
You still gotta deal with infected though, right?
Who doesn't? But it's the world we live in.
Or maybe you don't have to be.
I can't throw the bottle at Tommy. Yes, I was trying. You can't tell me you wouldn't do the same thing. Dog!
Buddy,
That's Buckley. Not much of a guard dog.
that's a good boy.
But he's good to have around.
You can pet the dog! You can pet the dog! Perfect. Perfect.
These two geniuses are gonna bring this plant back to life.
Yeah.
We think we got it this time. You don't believe us?
I didn't say that.
I'll bet you $1 million it works.
Sure. Make it 2.
We're almost ready. They just need to
Great.
finish
Smoke
building
bomb upgrade. Upgrade I will never use. Because that's an item I never use. What do I want? We have so much scrap. I think range on the shotgun would be good. Armor piercing. Yes. I think that's all I can afford. Spread for the shorty might be good, though. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy with that.
This'll hold.
Good upgrades. Can we perhaps
To the left. Watch it.
run a little bit more? Don't take my run away from me,
Okay,
please.
Don't worry.
gonna drop it. You're gonna drop it. Good, Tommy?
All right, that's good. Tommy's here. You good to go?
Okay, good to go. Ready? Go ahead, hit it.
I'm glad no one pinched their fingies.
God damn.
Nice!
We did it, boys. Nice work, boys. Somebody get on the horn and give Maria the good news.
Good job.
And pretty impressive. Looks like you're out $2 million.
All right, Joel. Let's go talk.
Okay, but before we do that, I want to see if there's anything in here. Before I have to potentially fight in here. There's lots of bricks lying around. What's in here? I want that, but I've got a full durability, or my bat. That's what I have. My bat is at full durability, plus it's already modded. So I would like to not wreck that or dump it before switching that. That's got more durability on it, but got a good item. Got ourselves a good weapon. Alright, Tommy, I'm done looking around. Let's talk.
It's quite the crew you got here.
Yeah, they're good men. This place gives them a second chance. Gives us all a second chance. So why'd you leave Boston?
I've been on quite the adventure, little brother.
I reckon it's got something to do with that girl.
It's got everything to do with that little girl.
Well, go on then.
She's immune.
Immune to what? Oh,
Seen her-
come on.
I know, I've seen her breathe enough spores to take down 12 men. And nothing. Now, I wouldn't have believed it neither. But I can show you.
All right. I'll bite.
Please don't bite.
Why bring her here?
I was supposed to deliver to the Fireflies. The way I figure they're your boys. You finish the job, you collect the whole damn payment.
I haven't seen a Firefly in years.
You know where they are. Now, I'm not asking for much, Tommy. I just want some simple gear, enough to set me on my way.
What makes you think I'd do this for you?
This isn't for me, Tommy. This is for your damn cause.
My cause is my family now. You ain't talking about some walk in the park here.
Jesus, boy. Have Maria get some of your born-again friends to do it.
They
but
got families too.
Tommy, I need this.
Joel, please.
You want some gear? Sure. But I ain't taking that girl off your hands.
This is how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you.
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it? I got nothing but nightmares from those years.
You survived because of me.
It wasn't worth it.
Joel, please.
I bring you the cure from mankind, and you wanna play the pissy little brother.
We ain't back in Boston. You lay your hands on me again, it won't end well for you.
Good on you, Tommy, for holding your boundaries.
You still remember how to kill, right?
Fuck. Alright. Sorry. Wiggling again.
Bandit! Stop him! Don't let him into the building!
Oh. Oh, this is bad.
You're gonna pay for that!
Get that soup to Allie! It's important. There we go. Oh, we're just gonna crouch. This is fine. Come here. Come here. Come here. I can't hit him. He's behind things. Tommy, move. Tommy. That sucked. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. You know why? Because I can do this. Ouch! Ouch! But Soup Alley? Somebody just run up behind me? It was Tommy. Excuse you!
You guys see anything? We got him. Let's get to the bridge.
My goodness.
Bandits, they're breaking into the building.
Okay, but before we do that, I want to scavenge. But I want items. I think I've collected everything. Okay, fine. We'll go. Let's go. Let's go. X. 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 Can these men not stand in the way of where I'm aiming? Please? Preferably. This is a terrible place to be. Great. Can't hit me, you goober! Listen! I'm sneaking! You don't know where I am. You silly person. Tommy. That's Tommy shooting. I keep hearing his, like... The sound design in this is very good. It definitely sounds like Tommy is shooting from behind me, but I keep panicking that he is shooting me. Which voice do you want, Emmy? Random? Alright. Hold on just a second. Where is... I thought I had set up a random button on this, but I hadn't. Shame.
How's this? So it's called Evil AI? I assume it's working. The assumption is that it works. I think that means it's working. It's very good. Great! I did finally go through all of the voices I had available to me. Shit. And like found the ones that are intelligible versus sorry, I just shot that man's kneecap out. Holy shit. It's small robot cage. Sounds like one of the microphones from the 90s of toilets. Beautiful. Metal cage, mega cage. I am a robot. Beep boop boop boop. Am I out of bullets? Genuinely? Okay, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. What? Ouch! Okay, this is a bit of an issue. I don't have any rags. Oh no. Maximum health, please. Did that heal me? It did! Beautiful. You know what I did forget to set up, though? Was the 5 minutes. Let's say it's been about... Let's say it's been... a minute. There we go. That's the only thing I haven't streamlined just yet. But I will, eventually. We'll get it. Yeah, that just means you get a little extra time with Mecha Kaysh. Toy microphone Kaysh. Like I said, for future reference, this one is called Evil AI. It's been a minute since we've done, a voice mod. So, you know, a little extra time, that's fine. Let's do this. I guess I don't, I'm like not out of ammo. I just don't have the ammo that I want. Ellie!
Maria?
Baby, baby, baby!
It's too damn close.
My darling, my baby!
You okay?
Everyone's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my shoulder.
Oh man, they were coming in from every direction, and Maria was like, "We gotta run!" And so we dove over these tables, and this huge guy blasted with a
Slow down. Listen, hey, are you hurt?
No.
God damn it. I need to talk to you.
Absolutely not. You tell him to go find somebody else.
Maria says no!
We lost her today.
What's that all about?
Do not tell that child it's about her.
Talk about it later.
Did he tell you where the lab is?
We'll talk about it later.
Also, don't tell her that you were trying to pawn her off, please.
Right.
My baby.
One fuck up and then I turn into one of those widows, okay?
I have to do this. I don't know what else to say.
Tommy, it's fine. Stay here. I'll take Ellie. Don't worry.
Fine.
Maria.
Here we go.
You. If anything at all happens to him, it's on you.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Tommy, stay here. Tommy, just stay here.
She's thankful, you know.
Give me all the supplies and just stay here. It's fine.
I'll take that girl of yours to the Fireflies. You don't have to worry about it.
No.
There's
No.
no good will come of this.
No. Please.
I need to talk to Ellie.
Ah!
Say again, I didn't hear you. Joel,
What is it?
that girl of yours, she took one of our horses and rode off.
Damn it. Which way?
Come on.
I just saw her riding on out of here.
Go back inside. Help the others clean the place up.
Okay.
Hello, horse. Go, horse, go.
Track?
Go, horse, go. Just let me find Ellie. I just need to know that my baby's okay. Okay? Okay.
She couldn't have gotten far. We'll find her, don't worry.
Stupid kid.
She usually pull these stunts.
Yes! He gets around one of the weird dogs. Hold on. Can I get off the weird dog? Can't get off the weird dog. Wanted to see if there was anything in there, but that's not the case. Good luck, weird long tall dog. What is this, a Great Dane? Where is Ellie? Dismiss. It's time to go back to normal.
Normal voice. All done. I appreciate the fact that I've got the voice mod app on my phone now, so I can just kind of like swap between stuff. It's pretty good. Perfect. You love to hear it.
Tracks.
So what I'm hearing is Evil AI is a new favorite amongst our pals. Good. Yeah, I'm glad I finally like took the time to find the good sounding ones. No, horsey! We have dog!
How many do you see?
Okay,
Goddamn many.
it's fine. It's fine. Listen, it's fine.
Go around, I'll cover you.
Horsey was fine. Hey. Hey. Get out of here. I see you up there. Where are you? He knew I was gonna get him. Yeah, good choices were made today. Sir! Sirs! There we go. That's that handled. Oh! You're not dead. He's dead now. It's fine. Everything is fine. What was that sound? Did I pick up the ammo that was over here? I did. Okay. Excuse me. I breathed in funny.
He's over here!
I'm not anywhere. You don't know where I am. You can't see me. I'm hiding. Give me that. Oh, he stopped walking. Whoa! Get out of here! Tommy, hello? Where? There. There. Great. We're doing great. Where's the other man? There he is. Get out of here, sir.
That's
We're
all.
not even worried. Look at that. We got this handled. I think I've officially gotten used to the controls again. It's only taken us like 9 hours of gameplay. But you know, that's fine. Give me that. Can I reload everything? I have no ammunition there. I do have some ammo here though, so that's nice. Yeah, let's get the shorty back out. Let's go. Right, I have arrows again. I haven't really been given an opportunity to be ultra sneaky lately, so I don't feel too bad about holding on to those. Can we hop up here? You cannot hop up there. Hop up there. Hello? Anything. None. It's time to find Ellie. Where is our horse? Am I supposed to get the horse? That would make sense. Weird, tall, long dog. Weird, tall, long dog. Where are you? Weird, tall, long dog. Weird, tall, long dog!
Come on, back to the horses.
We're going. I said what I said. Sometimes you just, what are its feet doing? Why are your feet like this? Oh, it's because your hooves are in the ground. Okay. That still isn't great, but that's better than your feet ending in these weird points. Weird, tall, long dog is the ready for 6 foot smell limit. We love weird, tall, long dog here. They're a good kid. Weird, tall, long dog.
Tracks keep going this way. Just hope they didn't get to her.
I'm sure Ellie is fine. She knows how to handle herself. But also, you done fucked up, Joel. Also, Tommy, the way your horse is moving. The way that dog runs. Their feet do be doing some weird stuff sometimes. Just bending oddly, especially when they jump. It's also... That's because the single is named after their roadie. As sort of like a tribute sort of a situation. They just... 6 foot smell limit really appreciates Weird Tall Long Dog and all the work that they put in.
Look, by the ranch. That's our horse. She's gotta be there.
Let's go. Get out of my way. Tommy, move. I gotta go see my baby.
Area looks clear.
Get off the weird dog. It's good lore. Listen, we as a group are nothing if not great at making up lore. Alright?
Be careful.
Ugh.
Ellie? Ellie?
Dumb people. Dumb people don't like Weird Tall Long Dog. Tommy, you scared me. You sounded so close yet so far away, and I didn't realize it was you. Also, look at this house. I would like this house. Please give. Is there anything else in here that I can steal? Reclaim? It's probably not the best use of my supplies at the moment, but that's okay. I like having as much stuff.
There's another.
Whatever it is. As many Molotovs as I can hold. That's what I'm trying to say, but I'm doing a piss poor job of actually doing. Sometimes words be difficult. Give me that. Yeah. Let's put some blades on our blade. How does that look? What is this? Joel? How is that making that better? How is that single scissor? How is that single blade doing anything? Like, it's not even on the other side, so you can't even be like, oh, it's reinforcing it. It's not! Oh my god. Joel, you can't just put blades on everything. Right? Now we can just cut our own selves. This is what you want. Now the danger is here for you as well. What a joy. Joel, please. This is not what we meant when we say live life dangerously. Alright? This is not what we meant. There's absolutely nothing in here. Please don't be a danger to
Is this
yourself.
really all they had to worry about? Boys? Movies?
Yep.
Deciding which shirt goes with which skirt? It's bizarre.
Get up. We're leaving. Come on.
And if I say no?
Welly.
Do you even realize what your life means? Huh? Running off like that, putting yourself at risk? It's pretty goddamn stupid.
Well, I guess we're both disappointed with each other then.
What do you want from me?
Not in
You
2013.
admit that you wanted to get rid of me the whole time.
There was no pandemic. Cordyceps got here
Tommy
before
knows this
COVID
idiot
did.
better than- Well, I'm sorry. I trust him better than I trust myself.
Stop with the bullshit. What are you so afraid of?
Losing
That I'm gonna end up
you.
like Sam? I can't get infected.
Please.
I can take care of myself.
How many close calls have we had?
Well, we seem to be doing all right so far.
And now you'll be doing even better with Tommy.
No.
Not her, you know.
What?
Maria told me about Sarah.
Ellie?
And
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Joel.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter.
Joel,
I sure as hell
please.
ain't your dad.
Joel, it's not.
We are going our separate ways.
No!
Get it together. We're not alone.
I'm not crying, you're
Keep
crying.
walking.
There's more inside already.
Fucking hell.
Walk around over here. Check
Come out. That's not where I threw that, you goober. Oof. I'm not here. You didn't see me. Fuck! I have been spotted. That was rude. That was extremely rude. Thank you for waiting though, sir. Hey. Okay. Give me that. Tommy, you need to not stomp around like this. Tommy! Oh my god. That got you in the neck, my dude? You should be dead. Oh no. This is a bit of an issue. It's fine. We got it handled, actually. I'm sorry, is that the game of strife? Really? Really? That's what we're going with? Alright, alright. It was fine. Listen, it was fine. We are gonna swap over to this. Get out of here, my dude. Please, don't shoot me. This is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine and normal and okay. We've got it handled.
All right. House is clear.
You don't know that, Joel. You don't actually
Let's get back
know
to the
that
horses.
it's clear. It's fine. There we go. It's fine.
We're clear.
Ooh. For now. We're clear for now.
You want a hand up?
Got it.
Sad. Hold on, sorry. I've wiggled around a lot. And my pants are all bunched up weird. adorable.
There she is. Kids will be watching movies tonight.
Where is this lab of theirs?
I mean, it could
All the way out,
be,
University of
but
Eastern
it's
Colorado.
not. So it's technically the worst it's ever been.
Bighorns. Ellie, get off your horse. Give it on back to Tommy. I'm gonna hang on to this fella. That's all right with you. Go on, don't make me repeat myself.
What are you doing?
Finishing the job.
Scares me. I don't want her coming after me.
Sorry for stealing your horse.
Look, come back to town. Let's discuss it at least.
You know me, my mind's all made up.
Everything is okay
University,
now?
Eastern Colorado. How do I find this lab?
It's in the science building. Looks like a giant mirror. You can't miss it.
You take care of that wife of yours.
There's a place for you here. You know?
You good?
I'm good.
Ouch.
Adios, little brother.
Thanks for the weird, tall, long horse, Tommy. Everything is fine. I just want Joel and Ellie to hug. Please hug this baby.
You give the ball to the other team,
Right, it's called turnover.
and if you clear the 10 yards, then you're back at first down?
First down, that's right.
Man, it's confusing.
Go
You
sports.
just gotta play it a couple times. It all makes sense.
I love you, Ams. Thank you for the lurk. I hope you're doing well. No, I need them to hug. Let them hug. 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 Yee. Okay, alright. It's horse time. I'm also now super sniffly. This is fine.
Stay, Callus. What kind of name is Callus, anyways?
It's not my fault you forgot to ask Tommy his name.
Callus.
Oof. Right, Ellie, you gotta follow me. I have to look for supplies while you drive the horse, is what I was trying to say. You gotta ride the weird tall long dog over here. Listen, weird tall long horse. Weird tall long dog. Not long horse. That's a different thing entirely. Thank you for getting the shout out
We'll
out there.
head to
I
Central
mean,
Grounds. Should be able to see most of the campus from there.
oof. It's Lamia. That was Lamia jumping off of the couch. Sounded weird though. Ellie. Ellie. Not even long elk. Long horse. They're gone forever. Oh, here she comes. Alright, Ellie. Are you... Okay.
Well,
Scooch! Scoot!
Come on.
Sorry. Don't get too attached to Callus, if I remember properly. Don't get attached to the weird tall long dog.
So, these places, people would live here and just study, even though they were all grown up?
Study, party, and find themselves. Figure out what they wanted to do with their lives.
What they wanted to do with their lives.
Give me the flamethrower. Beautiful. Beautiful! Also, we have another upgrade bench, which is awesome, but I want to try and find all the stuff in here first. I mean, you might not want to get attached to weird, long, tall dog. Said what I said. There we go. Is that timer not working? I don't think I've seen it pop up, but I could have just missed it. Me missing it is entirely possible. Just as a side, not necessarily for the situation at hand. So I don't think I've seen it, like, at all. I don't think I've seen the Game Link one either, and they should be on.
There was a lookout here.
Everything's broken. Hold on. Let me double check. They're on. Look, the flamethrower and this person being dead are not necessarily related. I'm sure that this long dead person, weird tall long dead person, and their flamethrower, their cobbled together flamethrower, are unrelated, and definitely no correlation between the two. Whoa, wrong button. Don't worry about it.
This looks like a good spot.
Okay, we only have 61. I don't want to do the flamethrower. I don't remember using it very much, honestly. Reload speed on that would probably be good. And reload speed on that. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Also, contemplating, thinking, considering. I had a thought and now it's gone. Either way, sounds like the flamethrower was a good option. Can't jump over that. It's got barbed wire. Hurt our weird long tall dog and his weird tall long legs. Is this not where I'm supposed to be? I want me to go in here. What's here, though?
I'll stay with Callus.
That name.
That's fair. Yeah, but that requires getting, like, up on them, and at that point, I might as well just beat the shit out of someone. You know? Oof. I mean, we'll save it. We might be able to use it for something. I'm just saying, I don't remember using it a ton in any of the playthroughs that I've done. Maybe I'm wrong. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. There's nothing else up here. Soon, Annie. Soon. Good in a couple of late game sections. Okay. Well, we'll use it then. We'll save it for those instances. Oof. Alright. Do I open this up? This looks like a thing that I can open. It's probably not, though. Hi, llama. Absolutely is not. 100% is not. Okay. That's fine. Oof. Over here? Where? Feel like I'm missing something extremely obvious. Ugh, let's see. Science Center is this way. That's where we're going, right? That's where Tommy told us to go. Always sneaking. Never not sneaking. Hey, Ellie.
Scoot back.
Did I just not run at these fast enough? I didn't think I could jump over this. No, I can.
Fun.
I just didn't get enough of a running start for it to count. Okay, understood.
Ooh, it's getting chilly.
There's that time of year.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna keep making funny
I'll
noises.
be right back.
I'll be here.
My arm is feeling a little better. It's still really sore.
How many people do you think are there?
But it's now, like,
Fireflies, I mean.
hurting my neck.
I reckon it takes quite a crew to run that operation.
Do you think there'll be other people my age?
Is she really following me in here?
Not sure.
Okay. Something tells me you're not allowed to have horses inside a school. I know we're not allowed to have pigs inside a school. And if you're not allowed to have a pig, you're definitely not allowed to have a horse.
Sounds like runners.
Stay with the horse. I'll go check it. Yes, I don't want him running off. I'll be right back.
Banks don't allow horses? What?
Looks like someone jerry-rigged this thing.
There's a lot of zombies upstairs. We got a lot of arrows, though. Is this them wanting me to use the flamethrower? Because I'm not gonna. Quiet. So very quiet. Ah! Ah! That was almost really bad. How did that not hit? Terrible. You know what? That wasn't nearly as good as I wanted it to be. It's fine. We'll do it again.
And that's that.
That's all of them. Yeah? Lamia? Excuse you. Hold on a second. Hey! You're not allowed to be on the table. No! What? Can I help you? What? Why do you scream? What? Would you like to come here? You can come sit with me. Would you like to come sit with me? Come here. Oops. I need her to not do the thing that she was trying to do. Also, I'm trying to get comfortable and she's already like, no, I must knead on your lap. Need, so pleased. Okay, can you stop? She's not allowed to be on the table though. No. It's cute that you think you have a vote in this, but you don't. Overruled. She's not allowed to be on the table. Hello. She just wanted to be held. She's very content now. Okay, can you lay down? You can stay in my lap. But I need you to... No, not one vote each way. Denied, overruled. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. You can't. It's not. That's not the thing. That's not how this works. Hi. She can't be on the table. She can be in my lap, though. That's just as good. Right? Who wouldn't want to sit in my lap? Do the generator thing. No. No cats on the table. It's not allowed. Can't happen. Not even once. The mods are rebelling, and this is horrible, honestly. Is there anything cool out here? No. Absolutely not. Sorry, she is so happy. She's got those rumbly purrs. Yeah. It's you. It's okay. I expect it from you and Fruity. I even expect it from Emmy, honestly. It's a 50-50 with Allie. Y'all are wild.
I was thinking...
Oh, she scared me.
I would have wanted to be an astronaut.
That a fact.
Yeah. Ellie. Horse. Horse. Hi. Mommy keeps staring at me. Have we really only been streaming for an hour and a half? Feels like forever. Like in a good way. But it still feels like forever. Okay. Let me see that note.
What do you want?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to want to be a singer.
Shut up.
No, serious.
Sing something.
No.
Come on, I won't rap.
I don't think so.
Sing something.
Please.
Stretch. Stretch from Travis. I can do a little bit of a stretch. It'll mostly be my right side. I can't stretch my left side too much, so it'll hurt my armies. Sorry, there's a Lamia demanding head scritches. Also, I have cat fur all over my face, and this is miserable. It's because of all the headbutts from the cat. It's not boring. Like I said, it feels like forever, but in a good way. I don't know, my perception of time has been like super funky. Also, I can do a hydrate as well. I know that was like a weak stretch. I'm sorry. Ooh. And a hydrate. Hello. Mama. Happy cat. I am taking care of my dang self. Listen, we're doing it. We're doing the thing. It's all I can manage for right now. Got a good stretch on my right side though. And I rubbed my neck a little bit. Like I said, like my shoulder still hurts pretty bad, all things considered, but it is like getting better every day. But like I don't know, because of how I've been having to like hold it and the fact that I've been doing like a little bit of like not physical therapy per se, but definitely like gentle massaging and careful stretches and stuff like that. It's just like making my neck muscles like all that more angry. We're doing it though. We're taking care of ourselves. Alright, is there anything cool here? Also, Joel's not singing for us. What a poor sport. But yeah, also, if any of you haven't stretched or hydrated recently, please do. It's important. If I have to take care of myself, you have to take care of yourself. Those are the rules. And maybe I've made them. But that doesn't matter. Okay. I have like slight hiccups. Anything up here? No. Just my flashlight going out. Alright, back on the horse we go.
Scooch.
Let's go, horse. Let's go, horse. Go, horse, go!
Aw, are those monkeys?
Yeah, a whole mess of them.
Watch out, they'll rip your face off.
Get them.
Is there anything cool over here? Nah, not really. I just want to find all of the items. Ooh! That looks like a place I can go into. Get on in there. There. Never mind. This is not a place worth being. Weird tall long dog. We love the WTLD here. Also, I see that firefly symbol over there. Gotta look around first. Can I? Probably gonna regret this, right? But also... it won't let me shoot the monkeys. Like, at all. I am not allowed to shoot the monkeys. Joel is a coward and will not shoot a monkey.
First time seeing a monkey?
She's so far away I can't even hear her dialogue. I can only see her captions. Ellie, I need you to follow me, okay? Listen. Okay, this is fine. Lara would do a murder on a monkey. Especially the endangered kind. Every animal. No animal is safe against Lara Croft.
And that's a rock fact.
Thank you, Neb. It's true. Laura hates animals. I was gonna say monkeys, but just animals in general. Hates them, despises them. Thank you for the contribution to the alien stream.
See it.
Ellie is not here. Hey, Ellie? Do you want to bring the horse on over? Ellie. I gotta do everything around here. Oh my god. Scoot. Ellie, I love you, but I need you to follow me, okay? It's important that you come with. Okay, before we do that, I want to see if this door will open. I don't think it does. No, it does not. Okay, that's fine. Now we know.
Alright, let's try that gate.
I also need everyone to understand that anytime I say scooch, I am referencing The Last of Us.
There it is.
Are you going?
This won't budge.
Excuse me. I'm trying to interact with it, but I can't.
Watch yourself.
It's fine. Thank you. Always the sneeziest. Hello, Lamia. You are gonna fall out of my lap laying like that. Sorry, she's like scooting around in such a way that she is definitely like a third of her body is hanging off of my lap. Not anymore. You will fall and you will get hurt and it's gonna be tragic and sad. So we're gonna just avoid that in general. As a whole, we're not gonna let you fall, okay? Thanks. Travis, thank you for the contribution to the alien stream as well. Hello. Sorry, she's so dang happy. And it makes me so dang happy. It's a good cat right there. That's a good cat. Also, like, not centered on my webcam anymore, and that's fine. Lamia, you make it really hard to stream. I need you to understand that the things I do for you, simply so that you'll be happy, even if it complicates everything for me, are innumerable. I do all of the things for you, Lamia. She doesn't care. She just cares that she's on my lap and happy. Okay, Ellie's down there. I don't see anything around here, so I'm gonna assume we're good. Oh, wrong button. I bet you there's gonna be a lot of pills here. It's a dorm. We all know college students are always running around getting high. Pills. Perfect. What's this? 9 goddamn months of waiting and still nothing. No word from anyone. Found some additional cans of food in the dining commons, but they won't last. Had an incident at the Eastern Hall barricade, but everything's still secure. Oops. Caught a glimpse of a group of those things running around. Saw one that looked like Heather. Maybe it was Heather. Fuck. Since batteries are running short, they're now only listening to their radio once a night. I gave up on that since the last broadcast. It's been 3 fucking months. Why do they bother? Cheryl was smoking out yesterday. She said she needed it. She got pissed when I threw out her stash. She doesn't get it. We need to keep a clear head here. Someone's going to have to go into town and get more supplies. Probably gonna be me.
Wonder
Rip.
how long you held out.
Not very. Wait, what was that? On the ground? Rags. Speaking of, we should make some of that. I can't make any of that because I don't have enough blades. I'm saving upgrades for some of the major stuff. Why do you have two of the same book? You are so loud, Lamia. My goodness.
Damn it, spores.
I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry about it. Whoa! I didn't mean to fall through. I didn't mean to fall through. I'm not prepared. This is terrible. Everything is terrible here. Everything is awful. It's all super bad. Give me that. I hear a large lad. I think I hear a large lad. I'm not sure. Did that not... That didn't do anything. This is tragic. Okay. This is fine. We're doing great. Not me genuinely getting stressed about this. Yep, nope, all done. Whew. Let's go ahead and make another shiv. Oh! Oh! I thought he turned around! Okay. There's the big boy. And then there's another clicker right there. Okay. We got this. Something tells me I can't... I can't stealth kill the large man. Which is unfortunate. But you know what? We'll figure it out. Maybe we just walk past him. Maybe we just don't hang out here. Maybe we just leave so he's not an issue. You know, we don't make him an issue. Okay. He is there. Oh my god, he's so close. What if... waking up. He doesn't seem to be waking up. It's fine. I thought that made enough noise. Too little, too late, buddy. I'm gone. Look at me. I'm too sneaky. You can't stop me. Hella. We're only extremely stressed out, but that's okay. We did it. Alright. Is there anything cool here? Absolutely not. There were some pills. That's pretty alright. We'd love more maximum health. Maximum health. I want that Shiv Master. The weapon sway would be good, but like we're pretty okay as far as the sway is concerned, right? Like, after that first upgrade, we don't really like need it. Hi, Lamia. You know when cats get super comfortable?
More
And they,
infected,
like-
I'm fine.
They roll upside down and do the little head tucking thing with their paws? That's what she's doing right now. Alright. Let's open up that gate. Oh, okay, Joel won't jump up there. That's fine. Let's go. Are we bringing this over? Oh, I see. I understand. Plug that baby in! Thank God it is just a plug-in situation. Get it. Oh. There we go. And once more.
Let's try the gate.
Anya, I love you, but my foot is falling asleep. Hey. Also, my caption stopped. Why did they do that? Okay, caption should be back on. Hopefully they weren't off for very long.
No.
I'm trying to like keep an eye on that more since it keeps happening.
So close to the lab.
Well, Bill used them as a form of defense. Maybe they're doing the same.
Yeah, I could see that.
Or consider place is abandoned. Doesn't really seem to be anyone here.
No guards. No nothing.
Yeah, I'd expect to see someone by now. Let's get inside.
Okay, hold on. We are going to look for items. Because that's what we always do. Always get the items. Might as well make another one of these. I can't really make anything else because I don't have any blades.
Have you ever been to one of these?
What, the university?
Hi.
No, not
Sorry.
as a student, at least.
Why not?
I had Sarah when I was pretty young.
Were you married?
For a while.
What
Hold on.
happened?
Okay,
We're dumping the kitty off on the couch.
too much.
There we go. Be content and happy right there, baby. Hi, stars! I hope work is going well for ya. Always love to see you hop in and say hello. Oof. Sorry, I don't know if you can see her very well. She's all bundled up. Kitty cat's all bundled up. Look at her little tail. Right there. Right there. Eat some mama! Oh, perfect. Okay. We need to loot everything. And then... Excuse me. Head inside to find out what a disappointment this place is. Precious. Is there anything cool around here? I should also probably, like, make sure that everything is reloaded. Or everything that can be reloaded is reloaded. Did we... Is that full? Not yet, but it will be. God, that takes forever. Let's do that. That's fine. And do we have revolver ammo again? A little bit. Okay. We're happy with this. This is better than nothing. What? Ellie, I can't hear you when you talk at me from halfway across campus. Alright? Ma'am, consider coming over here where I am to do a chat. Scooch.
Shoot you on back.
Alright, horsey. Weird, tall, long dog. Great. Go home.
Hey, over there.
Get out of here, Emmy. Go home. Go where? Ellie, you said a thing and it made the noise like I needed to look at something?
Yeah, that looks like a way in.
There we go. I see. Okay. We love you, Emmy, but also get the fuck out of here! Can't push that. Seems like a problem that can only be solved with a dumpster. Actual trash. You gonna... Yeah, don't try and push it, Joel. You're not gonna... It's not... You pushing it is not going to help it.
But it'll do.
Have we just decided to abandon the horse? Alright. Good to... Stay there! Tall, weird, long dog. Tall, long, weird dog? Weird, tall, long dog. Weird, tall, long dog. That was it. Just took me a minute. It's fine. Alright. Let's get the dumpster. Sorry, I realize I keep doing like these weird laps around places. I gotta see if there's any items, you know? They like to hide things from me, and I need as much scrap and medicine as I can possibly find. Alright, in we go.
Alright, we're inside. Come on, kiddo, give me your hand.
Yeah! Yeah!
Let's look around.
Yeah! I bet they have lots of good stuff here. Open that baby up. That's a lot of scrap. Thank you, game, for being so kind to me.
Let's see what we got.
We want to... I'm missing some tools, which is unfortunate. Let's do fire rate. Can't really do any reload speed on things. I guess we'll do reload speed on this. I'm not really using it, is the thing. Let's get better draw speed. That's all I can do for now.
That should help us out.
Hello? Okay. Great, we got stuff. Still don't have enough to really do anything with. That's unfortunate. I need more blades. That's not usually the thing that we're short of. So this is a little unfortunate, but, you know, it's fine. Find anything good over there? Blades. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Sorry, hold on a second. Like I said, we're extra wiggly today.
Fireflies! Care for
Scared the
mankind over
piss
here.
out of me, Ellie.
Anyone?
Let's keep it down until we figure out what's going on.
Hello? Oof.
Nothing useful.
Ain't nothing here but a bunch of medical mumbo-jumbo.
I don't get it.
Looks like they all just packed up and left in a hurry.
Maybe
Excuse
not all
you.
of them.
Stay close.
Hello? Okay, well, before we go that way, I think there was an area over here that I didn't look at. Ellie, the fireflies can wait. We gotta do some looting. Hi, Devo. Whiny little buddy. Woo! Woo! Hi, Devo. My good lad. Use that shiv. Get into that lecture room. The noise that door made was very concerning. Hey! Molotov radius and tools and scrap! Oh, this was a good room! Okay, we gotta go back to the table to do some upgrading. Again. We're never done. Always be upgrading everything. That was a good room. Is this... No. Is this the room? Yes. Perfect.
Let's see what we got.
Let's... Clip capacity, probably good. Fire rate, reload speed on the shorty would be good, but so would clip capacity. We are one short for the fire rate on that revolver. It's fine. Fire rate on the shotgun would probably be good. Ooh, scope though. No, let's do reload speed on the shorty. We use that pretty regularly.
Nicely.
We are only one set of tools away from being capped, which is nice. Can you pick that up, maybe? No, we're full. The least you can do is at least look at it. Okay. This is fine. Everything is fine! What door is opening? Ellie? Where is she? Ellie, I told you to stay close! Where are you? Was that her opening the door? Ellie. Please. There she is.
No bodies. That's good, right?
We found out where they went.
Actually, give me the bottle back. I like the bricks. I like the bottles too. Office recorder. Play it. No. Stop. It was playing from my controller. And I hated that? No, thank you. What do we got? Pills. Pills here. We got scrap. Scrap. So much scrap. All the dang scrap. Scrap, scrap, scrap. More pills. You love to see it. Ammo. This is a good college. I like this place. Okay. Didn't mean to, like, burst through that door, but that's okay. How are we here? I think we'll do maximum health next for our next upgrade. Hi, Devo. Can you not do that, please? No, thank you. Okay, we've been in here, but there was one more door here. Hey. This just loops back around. Understood. You gotta look everywhere, right? Gotta understand everything about the place that you're in. You going, Ellie?
Shit.
So it's probably clickers, right?
No, clickers don't hide.
Concern.
Jesus.
Fucking monkeys.
At least it ain't clickers.
For now.
No fireflies either. Well, maybe in all that research, they turned into fucking monkeys.
Just keep searching, we'll find something.
Not the firefly monkeys. I hate. Okay, I can't do this. I know there's a way to turn that off. I can't be bothered to find it right now, though. Alright, anything cool in here? More scrap. Won't say no to that. Drawer. What can I make? Anything. Can I make anything? No, I can't. Hi, Bono. Welcome in, friend. I hope you're doing well. Subtitles are off. Why? Now they're back on. It's fine. Everything's fine. Oof.
You're looking for the fireflies. They've all left.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm dead. Or I will be soon.
Oof.
Got me some time.
We're doing alright. Getting through it. You know how it is. I'm glad you're doing well, though.
Fucking thing was a giant waste of time. I'm not gonna do this anymore.
Come on.
You'll return to St. Mary's Hospital and
Excuse
City. You'll find him there, still trying to save the world. Good luck with that.
Do you know where that is?
I know the city.
Is it far?
It ain't close. I mean, on horseback.
What?
Oh.
Fireflies?
Get down!
No. No, not fireflies.
What the fuck are
Baddies.
these guys?
It don't matter. We know where to go. Let's get the hell out of here.
Time to leave. Also, can I reload? Thank you, Joel. It's sneaking time. Is that a door over here? No. Absolutely not.
Where the hell are you? You're dead, asshole!
No! Give me that. Ah! Sir! You can't just come around the corner like that and hurt me. Listen. That was very rude of you. Say sorry. Terrible. Honestly. Ah. No, they all just know that I'm here. Alright, well... Get fucked. Ow! Bad men. Whoa! Where? We'll just do that. We'll just do that. We're just not here for any of this. Listen, my guys. I'm not here for your bullshit. Alright. We're gonna get through. We're gonna do a murder on all these dudes. It's gonna be great. Where are they? Open that up. There's absolutely nothing in there. You'll love to see it. Whoa! Good job, Ellie! Okay, we're gonna do this because there's another axe in here that has, like, full durability. So we're just gonna handle that. Ooh! Oh, wrong button. Still don't have enough for, like, anything. Please. I need more knives. A little knife wacky earlier. Get out of here. Ah! That was almost terrible. Don't want that. Come on. Stop wiggling, sir. My goodness. Are there any more bullets around here? No? Okay. Well, let's reload this. And then... I don't really want... I love my little revolver. I have more ammo in my pistol, so let's do that. Oh no! No, 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 no! Ellie, stab him in the neck! Ellie, stab him in the neck! Or I'll punch him in the head! Oh, Joel! I'm sure it's fine. Oh, that's a lot of blood.
What do you want me to do? What?
Oh.
Oh man. Joel?
I'm gonna need you to pull.
Okay. Alright, you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yikes! Oh, Joel. Oh, Joel.
I don't see anyone. Let's go.
This is fine. Everything is fine. I also have unlimited ammo right now, which is
Joel?
great.
How we doing?
I'm fine.
I don't think he's fine.
Can you handle the window?
Yeah.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Come on, move!
Oh, buddy. You don't see shit. Not that.
Ellie. Those were my friends you killed.
It's fine. We're here to just distract. Good job. Joel wishes he were in Bloodborne, and I don't think he understands that if you use your blood to make things, you will die.
I'm okay.
You're not okay, Joel. Ellie, that's what I just said. Alright, it's fine.
Move it.
Moving.
There's no one here. Hurry.
We're going, we're coming. Slowly but surely. Ugh.
You're doing good. Just keep at it.
No, Joel.
Here, lean on me.
You need to at least get to the horse.
Yes.
Then fucking walk.
As long as you can get onto the horse, Ellie can handle the rest, okay? Gotta yell at all the bandits, so we just need a quick sit down. Give me about 10.
Joel?
Behind you.
What?
Ellie.
Oh, fuck.
The kid's got a gun.
You idiot! Sorry.
Shit.
No! Ellie, is your face okay?
Joel,
You just got hit with a pipe!
stand up. Push her up.
This is fine.
I get you out of this. You're so singing for me.
You wish.
Wait here. I'll get the door.
Okay, we are putting so much blood on everything.
Come on.
Oh, Joel.
Fuck.
Oh, shit.
He's just winded. It's just been a long day. Little overexerted. It's fine. Come on, horse. Oh
get on?
boy. He packed a little too much extra blood today. Realized he needs to get rid of some of it.
I think we're safe.
Oh, goodness.
Joel?
No. Joel! Oh, boy.
Joel, here.
Man's looking a little pale.
Get up, get up, get up. You gotta tell me what to do. Come on. You gotta get up. Joel?
Hey, it's winter now. Hey, we have a new season now. Holy shit. Kill it. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Good job, Ellie. Perfect.
This won't last very long.
It's food. It wasn't, though. That's dinner.
Just startle it.
That was dinner. Also, it's time to go hunt a deer.
Where'd you go?
Well, rip. Also, we get to play as Ellie, and I love it so much.
There you are.
There, deer. There, deer. Deer there. Ellie. Gotta go get deer. It's deer time. There, deer. It's too far away. Can't shoot it from here. We do need to know if Joel's okay. Because, like, we can't... No. I should have shot. Right? No, I remember the first time that I went through this, I flipped out. I was like, I need to know if Joel is fine. And then you get to play as Ellie, and you're just like, Joel isn't okay! Why is Ellie out here by herself? And it's all horrible and stuff, and you just have to take your time hunting this stupid deer while you're sitting over here freaking out about your daddy. Just... game. Is Joel fine? What if I were to tell you if that Joel's not fine? It's a brilliant transition. Honestly, they did a good job. You're distraught and everything is terrible. Be careful and shoot this deer. I'm not here, dear. You can't hear me, dear. I'm sneaky, dear. Hold on. Oh my god, she's so wiggly.
Got you.
Game is rude and mean. It's fine. We did a shot. Ellie's so wiggly. Look at this. Look at how unsteady she is. Winter is so good. I think Winter is probably, like, across the board agreed upon the best. This entire game, though. Listen. Dear, I shot you in the head. No, I shot you, dear. Listen. I got you. You're dead now. Bang, bang. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for this section of the game. I'm just excited about this game. It's too good. Where is Deer? Deer went this way. You can tell because of the blood. Deer, you leading me right to ya. Hello? Gonna get you, Deer. I'm gonna eat you for dinner, Deer. Deer and bunny stew. Mmm. Still hear it running.
How are you still alive?
Honestly, though. Deer. Deer. Hello, Deer. Deer, 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 deer. Deer, 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 deer. Fruity. You know what excessive amounts of blood reminds me of?
Great. Everything's cool.
Our dear good friend
This place
Joel.
is not creepy at all.
Dear? Dear! Dear!
Who's there? Come out!
This is fine.
Hello?
Ah!
We
Sorry.
just want to talk.
Any sudden moves and I put one right between your eyes. Ditto for Buddy Boy over there. What do you want?
Name's David. This here's my friend James. From a larger group. Women, children. They're all very, very hungry.
So am I. Women and children, all very hungry too.
Well, maybe we could trade you for some of that meat there. What do you need? Weapons, ammo, clothes.
Medicine! Do you have any antibiotics?
We do. Back at the camp. You're welcome to follow us
I'm
back.
not following you anywhere. Buddy Boy,
Good
you
job,
go get
Ellie.
it. He comes back with what I need. The deer is all yours.
Is he
When
really?
else shows up.
You put one right between my eyes.
That's right.
I would have never known.
2 bottles of the penicillin in a syringe. Make it fast. Go on.
Devo. Wild.
I'll take that rifle.
Nathan, how could you do this to us?
Of course.
Back up.
Fucking wild. Sorry, this. Ugh. Ah!
Probably gonna be a while. You, mind if we take some shelter from the cold?
Bring him with us.
Oh my god, sorry. I am stupidly excited for this section.
There. You know, you really shouldn't be out here all on your own.
I don't like company.
I see. What's your name?
None of your business.
Why?
Look, I understand it's not easy to trust a couple of strangers. Whoever's hurt, you clearly care about them. Sure, it's gonna be just fine.
We'll see.
Motherfucker. Sorry.
You had another gun?
Sorry. Hey, I'd really like my rifle back now.
No, you have your pistol.
Hope you know how
Yeah,
to
you
use that thing.
fucking tell him,
Had some
Ellie.
practice.
No matter what, we have to keep them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's hope they don't find him.
Do you understand?
Cover the windows.
Okay.
What's in here? Health kit? Fucking shit, she wiggled. You could have done something about this, David! That animation, though! Fucking shit.
You weren't kidding. You're a better shot with that thing than I am.
Probably doesn't take much.
Give me a hand with this.
Push, 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 push. Fucking hell! Ellie! Now is not the time to be reloading like this. I need you to hurry up. Alright?
Nothing over here.
It's okay. We at least got to a checkpoint, so that's exciting. And the window covers have come back. So that's nice. Oh. Piss.
Got more rifle ammo.
Well, now you tell me. David. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. I'm going to die. I will be dying here. Ah! I understand why all my upgrades aren't with me, because we're not Joel and all that, but also, I would like all of my upgrades. Also, I'm glad your meeting's done. Good job.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, well, guess what? Sir, it's fine. Please. Let's get that clicker out of here. Thanks. Okay, let's grab the ammo. Please stop. David, do something. I'm gonna die. Oh my god. This weapon sucks. It's so slow. This is not what I need. I don't need a ranged weapon for a bunch of up-close combat. Man ducked. Man's ducked. Right as I was shooting him. Ugh. This is unfortunate. I mean, sure, but it's still not ideal in this particular situation. Listen. Ellie. It's true. My melee sucks. Ellie, I love you and you're great and all, but you also kind of just are terrible at everything. It at least makes sense as to why we have little girl fists. We are, in fact, a little girl. Who is screaming? Okay, do it. Go, let's go. That man tagged me. Move! Okay, you didn't have to, like, help me up, though. My goodness. Also, now we both lose. Because our deer is down there.
Do you know where you're going?
Never set foot in this place.
Oh, great.
Is there anything in here? There's stuff. There is stuff. I don't have anything to make anything with. This is great.
Clear.
Okay, let's go.
This way.
Let's go. It's go time. Go, 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 go.
How are you holding up?
You don't need
Fine. I would like some health, though. Maybe.
Stay close.
Consider. Oof.
Hey, kid, you all right?
Fine.
More clickers. Get out of there!
Or, consider, you make all the noise and draw them away from me. What if I just let David over here handle everything? Stab. We're just gonna do a few stabs. Nope. 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 Couldn't get out of there. Ellie decided that she did not want to go through the little tunnel. This is unfortunate. There we go. That's one clicker down. That's the clicker that decided to kill me. You wiggly bastard. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. This is fine. This is fine. I mean, I love her stupid little pen knife. It's much better sneaking with Ellie for sure. But also consider giving me more than just a hunting rifle. And this terrible unupgraded bow. What's down here? What bad things down here? What bad things do you hide? Not bad. Good things. Okay, can I make one of these, please? Look, it's a fine rifle. It is not great in an up-close situation, which they have been throwing me in. Okay? I don't have anything with the rifle on its own. I have an issue with the rifle in the situation. Listen. Listen. I don't want to have to constantly no-scope shit. I'm not a COD kid. No Call of Duty here. Where am I going? I've turned myself around. Here? I'm not gonna do the 360s. It's not gonna happen. I'm not even gonna bunny hop.
You alright?
I'm fine.
Come on. Doors this way.
Listen, I'm fine.
That was so close. We need to get up there.
Boost me.
That ladder could work.
Okay, boost me. Give me boost.
Come here, boost me up.
Boost, boost, boost.
Ready?
This'll do, but you're no Joel. Okay.
You be quick. You keep a lookout for those things.
I know.
It's a bad Joel. The worst Joel, even. Where are clickers? There they are. There are clicker. It's not worth it. Let's just go. Okay, maybe it is a little worth it. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know. I don't trust him. Something tells me you can't trust him. Call me wacky. Can I make a Molotov? Should probably make a health kit, honestly. Trying to make a Molotov. Do we have Joel at home? That's the real question. How is Joel?
Alright.
Our poor buddy.
Come on. Alright, look out.
That's fine. Okay, I guess you go first. Sure, that's fine. You go first. We're just gonna run through. Fuck it.
Yeah, no shit. Okay.
It's not clearing the way. He wants us to die. David says, you'll make a good distraction. And I say, fuck that. Why are all these people so stompy?
Looks like someone already fought those things and lost.
Been looking for these boys. Doesn't matter. Grab the gear.
I mean, it does matter. I mean, listen. It does kind of matter. Okay.
Keep your eyes open for anything we can use.
Ah!
It's a dead end.
So many boys.
So what do?
We hold our ground.
Is there any other choice?
We die.
Right.
Great. 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 That was the wall. I shot the wall there. That's fine. Ah! Ellie! Ellie decided she needed to take a break as I was trying to run.
Get ready.
This is fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. David, move!
You hear that? They're on the roof.
I know.
I just shot David and I don't even feel bad about it. Excuse? Get away from me! Get... No! Ellie! Sometimes she goes to... It's when I run out of ammo. Is when it happens, and I know it. But it's like... Ellie will decide to automatically reload for me, and it's like, this is a bit of an issue. Because you get stuck in your reload animation, and that's a problem for me. Because then you won't move, and there's a clicker on us, and I need you to move when there's a clicker coming for us, Ellie. Okay? Listen.
You hear that? They're on the roof.
I know.
Oof. I missed. Okay. Stop! David, handle yourself. If you could just get into a fist fight with all the zombies, that would be awesome, because then I can come up and stab them for you. And that's great. We love that for us. Hi.
Doing fine. Here come
Are we? I don't know that we are.
Just keep at it.
Real talk. Not sure that we're doing too great. Could have probably just run up to him and stabbed him, but that sounded like effort. Where is it? Ellie, we gotta talk about your aim.
The bloater! What? One of those big fucking guys.
Great. 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 We're doing great. David. Sir. Fluff. Flutter was getting down with his bad self.
Kid? We did it.
Like we killed all of them?
He just wanted to take a break and do a quick little dance, and it was very good. And I feel bad about interrupting him, but also... he needed to take his dance elsewhere, you know? This was not the time or the place for it. Okay, are you doing a thing, sir?
Listen.
Silence.
No infected.
I know, and I'm sorry. Maybe next time we'll stop and appreciate his dance.
Let's head on back. Check on that buck of ours.
It's my buck, actually. I'm just giving you some of it.
Well, you handled yourself pretty nice back there. Whew. I'd say we make a pretty good team.
No, I did all the work there, David.
We got lucky.
Lucky? No.
Ugh.
No such thing as luck. Now, you see, I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do. And I can prove it to you.
Uh-huh.
Now, this winter has been especially cruel. A few weeks back, I sent a group of men out to a nearby town to look for food. Only a few came back.
Ellie, you gotta go.
They said that the others had been slaughtered by a crazy man. And get this, he's a crazy man traveling with a little girl. You see, everything happens for a reason. Don't get upset. It's not your fault. You're just a kid.
Ah!
James, lower the gun.
No way, David. I'm not gonna let her go.
Lower the gun. Now give her the medicine.
The others won't be happy about this.
Yeah, well, that's not your concern.
Move the fuck out of the way.
Yikes, 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 yikes,
Won't
yikes,
survive
yikes.
long out there. I can protect you.
No, you can't.
No, thanks.
Ellie, you gotta go home. Ellie, go home.
Let's get out of here.
It's home time. Get horse, go. Go, 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 go. Weird, long, tall dog.
Come on.
Put a blanket on that weird, tall, long dog. Sure, he's a little cold.
Joel?
He's fine.
I only managed to get a little bit of food. But I did get this.
Do you know how to use that, child?
Move your arm.
Yikes.
Here we go. Sorry. Hold on. That's it. You're gonna make it.
Don't promise things you don't know. Y'all need to snuggle up together. Goodness gracious. Oh no! Yikes!
Fuck. They tracked me.
Yeah. Yeah, Ellie, they kind of followed you.
I'm gonna draw them away from here. I'll come back for you.
Bye, Ellie. DC's fine. DC's fine.
Are we
He ain't got shit! Stab him! Stab him in the neck!
What are you waiting for? Shoot her!
But David said...
No!
Shoot her now!
Come on!
I was gonna say we should stop here, but we should probably get through this terrible chase. Excuse?
Come get me, you motherfuckers!
Eee!
What do they want?
Ellie, you know what they want.
These guys really want me dead.
We gotta go! It's not great. It's not great getting chased like this. Oh boy. I'm sure it's fine though. Look, we got this. Don't shoot my horse. Weird Tall Long Dog! Weird Tall Long Dog was ragdolling over there. Oh boy.
Oh, man.
They do that sometimes.
Shit.
Bye, Weird Tall Long Dog.
Fell down the hill somewhere. I don't see her though.
It's tragic. Rip Weird Tall Long Dog. We love you. We'll never forget you. Alright. Maybe this is a good spot to stop. We're still in the middle of everything. But we're at least not actively being chased. Here, we'll put Ellie in here. And then we'll save. Y'all will watch me save. Because it's important that you know that I have saved. There it goes. We did the save thing. And that's where we'll end for today. We will get back to this on Saturday. It's not really early. It's only 4 minutes until the end of stream. Listen. It's 4 minutes until the end of stream. And I don't want to be stuck in the middle of combat when it's time to end. So it's basically time to end. Okay? Listen. I don't know if Joel will be okay in 4 minutes. I'm sorry. I do need to end, though. I gotta get up and stretch a little bit and take some pain meds, because my shoulder is killing me. Ooh. And I gotta let my arm rest. You wouldn't think that just sitting here and playing with a controller would use your shoulder very much. But apparently it does. And it kind of sucks. So I need to stop and take a break. But it's gonna be fine. I'm sure that Joel is fine, and I'm sure that Ellie is fine, and I'm sure that there are no problems at all ever. Everyone's gonna be fine. Also, Devo's screaming at me, and I need you to stop. No. I've been I was an adventurer. I was a gamer like you once, and then I unplugged my shoulder. Shall we go see some friends? Y'all want to go do a raid? I have a few folks online tonight, which is exciting. Nimbly is doing some Breath of the Wild. Black Girl Gamers is doing some Dying Light 2. ATM Zero is doing some Monster Hunter Rise. Ghosty is doing some God of War. Toadsworthy doing some Fork Knife. And Princess Measy is doing some Just Chatting. It looks like. I think she's going to be doing some Overwatch. Do any of those sound good? Anybody have any recommendations? We haven't seen Nimbly in a hot minute. Y'all want to go say hi to Nimbly? Y'all want to go say hello to our good friend Nimbly? Devo, you gotta stop, buddy. Nimbles. Good friend Nimbles. Alright. There are the raid messages. Oop, oop, oop. Helps to copy those properly. There's the raid messages. We're gonna go see Nimbly. We love Nimbly here. Good cozy vibes after a fairly intense stream. But yeah, take care of your dang selves. I love y'all. We'll be back on Friday with Oxenfree and some indie stuff, probably, if I find the time to actually find some games for that. But until then, I love y'all. Have a good rest of your time zone. And we'll see y'all later. We'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.